Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at some stats. That's always create a very interesting picture. So the first figure we're going to look at are the stats provided by Stats SA on new births in 2019-2020. 1,051,311. And of concern are the 5,102 children between the ages of 10 and 14 that gave birth. Now they themselves are still children. And this responsibility will more than likely fall on their mothers or their grandmothers. And this will also impact on their economic opportunities. And then, will these fathers be taken to maintenance court? What if the fathers are themselves under 18? I doubt it will happen either way, because there's often a lot of shame around these pregnancies. So according to the DOJ annual report, only 120,945 new applications were registered nationally. Now, we do not have to be a rocket scientist to see that there's a huge difference in the figures of new births and new application figure. This does not even take into account the applications for older children who have never lodged a maintenance application. We also know that 60% of births registered never had the father's names on them, which substantiates the research that more children are born out of marriage. Now, it's not a slight discrepancy. There's a huge discrepancy, like almost 90%. So I'm going to quote from their annual report. And it says this: maintenance is regulated under the legislation South African National Acts and Regulation Maintenance Act No. 99 of 1998. And the tables below refer to the civil and criminal processes for maintenance matters. And it also says this: once a court-granted maintenance order is not complied with, under the Criminal Procedure Act of 1977, Act number 51, section 31(1) states, subject to these provisions of subsection 2, any person who fails to make a particular payment by a maintenance order shall be guilty of an offence and liable on conviction, these are words, on conviction, to a fine or to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 3 years, or to such imprisonment without the option of a fine. The information provided is based on 82% utilization of the maintenance integrated case management system. Okay, so give or take a bit here. It's not 100% accurate, but an almost 90% discrepancy. That's problematic. So how do they present these figures? Where do they get them from? These figures create an impression that things are going just smoothly in the maintenance court. These figures are important because this is what the members of Parliament get fed. These figures are probably used when allocating budgets and staff to various courts. It's not the rosy picture that they are creating, and it's not reflective of the crisis in the maintenance court. So based on their figure of 120,445, we're going to divide it by approximately 350 courts on an average. This equates to 335 new cases per annum, 27 new cases per month per court, which is 1.5 new cases a day per court. This is the biggest load of rubbish printed in the annual report. How many clerks do they require to serve 1.5 new applicants? It's a half-day job, right? Maybe that explains the staff shortage. The civil stats reveal the following: new applications, 93,705. That's 260 per annum, 21 per month, 1 per day. Consent orders, 19,555, 54 per annum, 4.5 a month, 0.22 per day. Struck off the roll, 8,737. That's 24 per annum and only 2 a month. Hearings postponed, 4,102. That's 11 per annum and 1 a month. Maintenance order granted, 5.5 per annum. Default orders granted, 1.9 per annum. Criminal cases, 5,742. Guilty, 450. Not guilty, 28. Others finalized by some other means, 110. Struck off the roll, 1,263. Withdrawn, 3,040. Outstanding, 1,257. There are no details on any of their figures. Who monitors these figures and who audits these stats? There's clearly a problem. Anybody who walks into a maintenance court can attest to that. So Minister Lamola said in his foreword in the report, the law is indeed there to protect citizens, more in particular women. We are continuing to look at ways of increasing access to justice. Cry me a river. Through the creation of community advice offices. The policy framework on the community advice office was finalized upon the development of a funding model in this financial year. The Deputy Minister had this to say in his foreword. COVID-19 has had an impact on people's human rights, whether it's freedom of movement, the right to a speedy trial, or socioeconomic rights. This brings with it an urgency to enhance access to justice and protect human rights and the rights of vulnerable groups. Our department is committed to improving the lives of all within our borders, upholding the rule of law, promoting equality, and ensuring the advancement of human rights and freedoms. Who writes this dribble? And they believe the stuff that they write. They say it includes building a transformed and accessible justice system which promotes and protects social justice. I'll do another video.